And welcome back, my fellow fiends, for the second to last time. Today, we are going to be tackling something that I've been alluding to for a long time, but have not really gone over how it works, the Labyrinth of Amala Time Trials. Now, a couple things I want to go over before we actually get into the decorum of the day. First off, in order to get access to all the burial chambers, obviously you need all of the different Kalpas open. You also need the Black Visor item. This is the item that you get from the Moon Key Door Vault in the first Kalpa. It is, let me pull up the map. On the western side, that ladder down will take you down to the area with the Moon Key Vault. That is what will actually allow you to take care of or access the time trials within the burial chambers. Two other things that you're going to need is that you're going to need at least 20 strength, which I have more than enough of, and very annoyingly, 25 luck. As I've gone over, luck is a completely worthless stat in this game, so it's a pretty annoying investment to have to make, but it is what it is. Additionally, for the interest of actually completing the time trials with as little headaches as possible, you want to be on the Trio Demon route so that you have access to the Focus, Pierce, and Frykugel combo. This is the ultimate damaging combo in the game, and it is also what allows you to defeat certain bosses much more quickly than you would be able to otherwise. I'd also highly recommend having a good amount of multi-targeting physical attacks that have high crit rates, like Deadly Fury and Hades Blast. And if you can manage it, try to have good elemental coverage, or coverage of all types of weaknesses you'll be coming across in the burial chambers, but that is not absolutely critical for reasons we'll go over. One other thing that you'll need is that you will need Metatron fused and in your party, and that is because one of the burial chambers is located behind one of the check doors in the 5th Kalpa, and the check for that door is Metatron himself, so you need to have him in order to get past that door, but he's a good demon anyway. So yeah, no skin off my nose. Let me see, just to start with here, we're going to set up our party for the first chamber. It is probably unnecessary to be as optimal as possible with it, but I do want to have options available should things go wrong. So, heading into the burial chamber, once you have the Black Visor, the graves will have red text on them. Should you interact with the graves, you will find that it is the grave of a boss that you had slain throughout the course of the game. Now, the burial chamber does not cover every boss in the game. In fact, it doesn't even cover half of them. Of particular note, none of the fiends are covered by the burial chamber, and there are a lot of bosses in the game that are either just bump-in-the-road mid-bosses the game doesn't really consider worth it, or perhaps you fight stronger versions of them later on that are represented with a different burial chamber, and then some are just skipped over entirely for reasons that aren't clear to me. But to start off with, we have Fornius, and if we opt to put on the Black Visor, we will recall the battle against Fornius. Now, the game does not explicitly tell us what these battles are about, but this is a time trial. We have a set number of turns to defeat the boss in. Fornius, in particular, we have exactly one turn to defeat him with, and we will do that in 0 turns if this rolls twice, which it did. Now, press turns that are only half used are not considered full uses of a turn. So when we check the grave here, also you notice we get very little experience and money for refighting the bosses. The grave, after fighting the boss, upgrades... Okay, no, it doesn't count as 0 turns, but we defeated him 1 turn. Now you may notice that the turn number has a slightly reddish hue for it. That means that you cleared the time trial successfully. So, over here, a boss that we have that you might not be expecting this guy to come back, Troll, one of the more bump-in-the-road bosses that I'm surprised they accounted for him. Now, Troll is weak to mind attacks, which I do not have any access to, so I have a couple options at my disposal. I can either try and get something with a attacking mind attack like Tentarafu on my team, or I can abuse criticals to try and pad out my turns. Like I said, half-used press turns past the first one are not considered consumed, so what we're going to do here is we're going to summon the Harlot, and the Harlot in this file, she has access to Bright Might. So if I advance the Kagatsuchi until it is full, she'll be able to roll a crit. So let me just do that real quick. Alright, so we have the full Kagatsuchi now, so let's try taking out the troll. Now, I will admit here, might not work, because the troll has 850 HP, and on average, I only do about 400 with the various attacks I have, but we're going to hit him with Frykugel and see if the Bright Might boosted physical attack takes him out, and actually, with that 646 damage, this should take him down, yes. And because we did not actually consume the press turn, that should only count as one turn. Remember, you always are going to have at least one turn locked in by default. And yes, we defeated him in one turn, and you do have to defeat him in one turn. Some of these bosses do actually have fairly generous amounts allotted for them. Not all of them, though, so be mindful of that. Alright, with these two burial chambers beaten and cleared, I will meet you at the next one in the first Kalpa. And just to state this now, so I don't forget later, each Kalpa has 2 burial chambers, though that does not necessarily mean that each Kalpa has 4 bosses to refight, and we'll be seeing what I mean there in a bit. Alright, here we are at the second burial chamber. I manipulated the Kagetsuchi to be at full again, since we're gonna need another Bright Might crit to support us here. If you do not remember where this one is, it is on B1 after going through a false wall on the northern hallway in the first floor. Heading into here, we have another 2 graves for us to examine. On the left here, we have Orthrus. Orthrus is weak to ice, which, as I have a reasonably strong Black Frost at my disposal, I do have access to ice damage. Otherwise, I can just use Bright Might to roll a critical and deal with him that way. Oh, or I could do a critical Frykugel and win that way. Okay, well, that works for me. That's much easier than the other thing. Yeah, sometimes with these, you'll just get lucky, and that'll happen. GG, Orthrus, you did your best, I suppose. Well, with that out of the way, let's head over to this one right here. Now I'm actually going to return Black Frost to the stock and bring in Red Rider and Beelzebub. And let's just take a look at this. We've got Yaxini here. She is a little bit tougher than Orthrus at 1200 HP to Orthrus's 1000, but she is weak to Elect, which I specialize in, so she's not going to do too great here. I have a lot of Elect damage at my disposal, so yeah, this is not going to go her way. Sadly, Harlot's Elect damage is not boosted there, but Red Rider's is, and there we go. With that taken care of, we have gotten all the burial chambers for the first Kalpa taken care of. I believe Yaxini's required number of turns is 2, so not too bad. We, of course, smashed that by just exploiting her Elect weakness. I'm going to meet you in the second Kalpa at the next set of graves. And here we are at the next burial chamber. The burial chambers of the second Kalpa are both located on B3. You have to, of course, drop through the holes on B2, and on the opposite sides there will be a burial chamber you can access. We're starting with the west burial chamber because I believe this has the next set of bosses that would follow off of the chronological order. And yes, here we have Kaiwan. And this is a pretty easy battle on the whole. You have 3 turns to kill all 3 Kaiwans, and the easiest way we can do that is just use multi-targeting physical attacks that deal high damage and have a high crit rate. Extremely likely to just kill the Kaiwans outright. There we go. Very simple. Any boss fight that gets thrown against you with multiple targets in this area, that's a very easy and reliable way to deal with them. I will actually want to be mindful of the fact that Wukong is faster than the Demi-Fiend, because I would like something that can debilitate the bosses to go first for the next time that comes up, which will be in the very near future. Let me see, do I have anything faster than him? I can just swap him out for Metatron and have him, or have whoever comes after the Demi-Fiend do debilitate. Alright, the next boss we have over here is Osei. Actually, you know what? Speaking of that, let's actually put Wukong into back here, bring out Metatron, and we will put on the Black Visor. Now we have 6 turns, according to this guide I have, to kill Osei. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a standard rev-up strategy. We're going to debuff him several times, and then use a focused Frykugel to take him down. And as you can see, I've passed around Debilitate on all of my strong demons here like it was going out of style, because it is a really, really good move. Really, really helps with these, just getting all those debuffs on the boss right out. And yeah, he can't really do much. Let's see how much Frykugel hits him for after that. Okay, that's not perfect, so what we want here is Hades Blast to crit, and it did not, so that's a problem. Well, if I fail here, all we can do is just restart and hope it goes better next time. Probably failed here, but let's see. The guide I got does not have exact figures for the amount of turns you have to take. And I figured, for ones where I don't have weaknesses to exploit, or they have really tight turn limits, yeah, I was gonna fail it, but let's just try it again. Alright, reworked my approach there slightly. Instead of doing the first turn to rev up and then releasing Frykugel the next turn, I just did 2 Debilitates, passed with Metatron, used Frykugel, and I figured if the Frykugel on the next turn did not crit, Hades Blast should have killed him at that point and let me beat him in the amount of turns that were required, which is 6 turns, but we beat him in 4, so hey, good for us. Alright, I will meet you at the next grave. Alright, here we are in the next burial chamber in the northern hallway, uniquely the only chamber that requires a key to get into. It's kind of funny replaying these games. I've noticed how sparingly the Amala keys are, even though there's like a certain degree of importance assigned to them. Anyway, not thinking about that aside, over here we've got the Morey Sisters, technically not the next boss chronologically, but you know, whatever. They're the first one that I looked at. And this is one that's pretty infamous for being luck-based. Basically, you do just have to go into this with multi-targeting physical attacks and hope you roll crits repeatedly, like so. Ideally, I would be able to debilitate them first, but sadly, my debilitate users are just not the fastest. As a matter of fact, it's probably more prudent to just use Hades Blast right out instead. And we'll have Black Frost do debilitate. You get exactly 4 turns to kill all 3 of them. So, and unfortunately, I went into this under full health with Wukong. That's not a big deal though, because Atropos has by far the most HP of the 3, so we can, yeah, that worked out just fine. We got it done in 3 turns. It's a pretty widely disliked fight because it can be pretty luck-based, but with the moves that I had at my disposal, it's relatively consistent. I can't imagine it taking you more than 2 tries unless you are insanely unlucky. Let me see here. Now, kind of an interesting conundrum I have here is I don't think I have anything with fire magic at my disposal, which is kind of unfortunate because the next guy we have up is Mizuchi, and like, what was it? Alright, blanking out his name. Osei. This is also a 6-turn one, but he has 1,000 more HP, so this stands to be a little interesting. Let me just think on that. You know what? I'm actually gonna swap out Wukong. I'm gonna bring in the Harlot, and I'm just gonna bring the Kagatsuchi up to full real quick. Alright, there we go. It's very unusual for me to not have something that has prominence on any team, since it's a really powerful skill, and quite a few good things learn it. But I guess I just wasn't really being mindful of that. Now, a lot of the bosses in these chambers do function identically to how they were when you fought them in the main game, so yes, Mizuchi does get to go first, just like he did when we fought him for real, for real. Okay, so we're gonna throw out the 2 debilitates. The Harlot goes last, but that is okay. We don't mind her going last anyways. With these 2 debilitates, her critical physical attack should do some pretty good damage, like so. And we'll hit him with a Frykugel, and we'll see where that leaves us. Oh, well, it could also just crit and allow us to win super easily. Yeah. And once again, he is a little late to the realization. This attack was a lot more threatening when we weren't all immune to it. And yes, I am using Masakados on the Demi-Fiend, because there's basically no good reason not to. We want to be as effective as possible so we can consistently clear these time trials. But fortunately, that went as I had hoped, so we defeat him in 4 turns. And that is all the refights for the second Kalpa. I will meet you in the third. Alright, here we are in the first burial chamber in the third Kalpa. We are at the western burial chamber, located behind the strength check doors. To get to this chamber, you have to have at least 20 strength to clear the stat checks to reach it. However, you can more quickly and conveniently reach it if you have 25 for reasons. I'm not sure why they laid it out like that, but whatever. In here, we have 3 graves to pick from. And let me see, I just want to check out, let's see, not that one. The first one that we're going to start with, because this is going to be the trickiest one for me to swing. Not Kinki. We want Suiki here. Now, because I generally lack fire magic, besides unboosted Magma Axis, unfortunately I had to remove Fire Boost from my skill list in order to make room for everything that I wanted. We're going to tackle this with solo Demi-Fiend and see if I can't just edge it out with the damage from Magma Axis, since Suiki is significantly weak to fire, and yes, this should do it, so yeah, it should just barely do it. We have 3 turns to kill him, do about 700 damage, so within 5 turns we should deal the damage necessary to kill him. Suiki on his own is going to be completely unthreatening because we have Masakados. He cannot do anything to us. Now, of course, there is the odd chance that I'll miss, although I would be a lot more worried about that in the HD version, as I said. It just seems like you miss a lot more often. You guys notice that my damage just seems to be crawling further and further upward? Weird. I'm not sure if that's actually a thing with the game or not. Whatever the case, Suiki cannot do anything to the solo Demi-Fiend, and Magma Axis serves as well, and because we are only technically using up 1 press turn every time, yeah, the damage just kept crawling upward. I'm not sure if that's actually a thing, where if you just like take the same action repeatedly, it increases the damage. It's making me think of the combo system that was introduced to the Disgaea series after the first game, where if your character doesn't move between actions, they get a bonus to their stats every turn. With that taken care of, next we want to get our most potent magic attackers in, so we'll be going with these guys here. Let me see, actually, let me just take a quicker look at, maybe Dante would be better? Yeah, because, well actually, does he have Sun's Oath? Oh yeah, he has Sun's Oath. Let me see. Alright, I'm going to get rid of Metatron. I'm going to bring in Dante, because the next fight we're going to tackle, we're going to do Kinki next, and his is a bit weird. So I never really went over this when we actually fought him properly, but Kinki has a kind of a weird aspect where he's not technically weak to anything, but he takes extremely boosted damage from magical attacks, way more than he should, as if he was weak to them, so we just want to hit him with our magic here, and hopefully we'll be able to kill him. He has 300 HP that we can burn through. I don't know if we're actually going to kill him or not. Did I say 300? I meant 3,000. Okay. So we damaged him a lot there. I'm not sure if we're actually going to be able to do this. This is a very, very strange fight to have to swing, and that's not good. Well, unfortunately, he brought our damage down by a lot, so I might not be able to kill him this turn, but let's see what happens. Well, that killed him. Now, do we need to beat him within exactly 4 turns, or is 5 good enough? The guide here says 4 turns, but he marked which ones he knows for sure were that. This is a pretty outdated guide. I'd probably get better information. Okay, that was good enough. That was good enough. I could probably get better information from the wiki, but I don't like wiki diving to compile information, so I just decided to forego that. Fortunately, Fuki, again, I'm an Elec specialist on this playthrough, so this is a much easier fight because he is weak to Elec. So, let's just do the Bolt Storms, the Maziodines. We should do enough damage to take this guy down, ideally, anyway. Never know what's gonna happen sometimes. Man, getting really bad luck on actually rolling the necessary number of hits. Fortunately, they seem to give you more turns than, the theoretical lowest you could do this in. Yeah, I'm just having very poor luck with all of these Oni. Yeah, you go ahead and do that, buddy. Oof, that actually did some pretty rough damage to Red Rider. He's still kind of like a late mid-game demon in comparison to everybody else I've got. Yeah. Well, looks like fate did not decide as such for you, Fuki. And do we have the red number here? Yes, okay. That was good enough. And that is it for this chamber. The next chamber is located beyond the luck door, so I will meet you there. Alright, here we are in the burial or at the burial chamber for the luck room, or luck section. Very frustratingly, in order to get to this burial chamber, you need to have 25 luck. If you do not have that much luck, then the door that checks for it just warps you early into a different section of the luck maze. So yeah, you're, well, out of luck there. You can't reach this chamber and complete the quest until you have at least 25 luck. Now, you want to make sure you're specifically at full Kagetsuchi here, because we've got Ongyo-ki. Makes sense after we fought all the other Oni. And Ongyo-ki, like all the other bosses, he functions exactly as he did when we first fought him. He's going to replicate, and if we approach him at full Kagetsuchi, he's going to have a shadow denoting which one is the correct one. And for this fight, of course, we have all the things we need to take it out very easily. Fortunately, buffs, debuffs, they don't trigger misses on Ongyo-ki, so we can easily just debilitate him, not have to worry about that, throwing a wrench into our plans. And I brought the Harlot in to take advantage of Bright Might for this fight, so we can get an extra turn in, and get the focused Frykugel same turn. And unfortunately, that was not enough to kill him. Honestly, with the amount of damage I did this turn, though, we can just let him replicate one more time. Oh, if you're going to do that, by all means, please do it. That is much preferable to anything else you could be doing that could actually benefit you or pad this out a little bit more. So we're just going to hit him with another Frykugel. And we'll throw out a Hades Blast, and this should probably kill him. Yep, there we go. I will remember that, Ongyo-ki. The experience gains are getting slightly better, but still pretty terrible for defeating the burial chambers. You need to defeat him within 10 turns, I believe, and we, of course, smashed that metric. Alright, on the right grave, we have Mara. Now, if you remember how the Mara fight goes, he starts with a very obnoxious salvo if you are not immune to the things that he uses on you. But fortunately, we are. Now, Mara needs to be defeated in one turn, of course, or else he will just heal off the damage he did. But I just want to try something real quick. Okay, yeah. The guy I'm reading suggested that he might be vulnerable to death, and I was pretty sure that was false, but I just wanted to see just for the heck of it. And he'll probably Dia Rahan this damage off, but I was just messing around. We get more than enough turns to mess around a little bit with him. Or Frykugel could just kill him in one shot. Whatever. That works too. Man, Frykugel, with the strength we've got at this point, pretty impressive damage, gonna say. Oh no! Oh! Okay, my guide misled me there. We have to defeat him quicker than that. Let me do that again. Okay, the guide I had was horribly wrong. He said you had up to 8 turns. That is not even remotely correct. What the heck was this guy smoking? Okay, so we actually got that defeated correctly this time. And for our final boss of this chamber, we have Black Frost. Let me actually get my full team back in here. Or maybe not, maybe not. Okay, yeah, I'm actually gonna roll with what I just used. This should work out well enough. So Black Frost, of course, highly resistant to physical attacks. He has instant death stuff, but we don't care about that at this point. Once again, the Harlot is here just to exploit the Kagetsuchi in order to roll us an extra turn there. So let's see, we'll do the Debilitate. And hopefully this works out as I'm hoping. If it does not, well, I can just try again until I get something that does work out the way I want it to. Because that's how I roll with this game. Huh, that's I was expecting not to kill him. Oh well. Let me see here. Yeah, let's just do another Frykugel. This one should definitely kill him. I'm not sure if I beat him in the correct amount of turns. We'll see what happens. Okay, that's good enough. Man, like, none of the turns this guy has listed are correct. Oh well, that's what I get for using outdated guides. I really should have wiki-dived to get my information for this, but this is good enough. At least it lets me know the basic strategy for these fights. Anyways, that's all the bosses for the third Kalpa. I will meet you in the fourth. Alright, here we are at the first burial chamber of the fourth Kalpa. This one, of course, is just in the previously cursed hallway that is uncursed with the death of Beelzebub. Inside here, we have on the left, the Spectre, or of course, the last version of the Spectre, where we just fought a bunch of them at once that attempted to blow themselves up. Of course, this isn't going to go so well for him, because we get the first go, and we have a bunch of powerful multi-target physical attacks at our disposal, like so. So yeah, he does not get to do too much, as we just run roughshod on him. Very, very easy. Hey, that's, we're almost getting into decent experience territory. But we completely annihilated him within one turn by the game's own standards, so that is more than adequate. Now, the next one over here, once again, I want to bring in Harlot. I did not actually explicitly plan to have, Bright Might Critical support on this team. It just kind of happened like that. And I'm kind of glad it did. I was not actively paying attention to that, because we've got Sakahagi here. Sakahagi, of course, we just completely skip over Guillermo Makala, who cares about him. We're getting straight into the Sakahagi battle. He has 1600 HP, so what we're going to do is we're just, once again, going to focus up Frykugel. We're going to have the Harlot crit him, and then we're just going to bust Frykugel into his face. So, focus up. He actually did get to attack there, compared to when we fought him in the game proper, and he just appeared and I immediately killed him. I think this is the one time where the fight actually functions slightly differently from how it worked when you fight him in the main game. It's a good thing I had that attack there, because otherwise I would not have dealt enough damage to kill him. And there we go. Alright, so I'll get us to the next one. I will point out that the next one is in the Road to Hell, and of course we can't check the map there, but it's behind a false wall, so I'll try and point or get a good sense of where we are when I get there. Or, you know, what the heck, there's no encounters anyway, so I may as well show the explicit trip to the burial chamber, just in case there are those who don't remember our previous soiree into the Road to Hell. So, heading to this false wall right here, we find our burial chamber. And beyond here, we have another 3 graves. Starting us off, we have Asiel. These are the 3 bosses from the Amala Temple. And this is the first time where we start to get some pretty generous turns without there being any kind of explicit gimmick in play. For Asiel, we're just going to do a pretty standard rev-up strategy here. Gonna focus. One nice thing is that having Beelzebub on the team also gives us some Fizz Repel support, since I fused that ability onto him, so that's pretty good to have. I think it was Fizz Repel. Or is it Fizz Drain? It doesn't matter too much. And here comes the Dragonite. Let's see what he does. As long as it's not Soul Niger, I'm not overly concerned about it. Mana Drain is annoying, but again, I am not overly concerned about it. Just as long as it is not something that sets us all to 1 HP, that is fine. Alright, let's get the Tarukaja going. We'll hit him with a Frykugel here and see where this leaves us. He has about 8,000 HP, so... Okay, 3,748. Let's start throwing out Hades Blast. We'll have Black Frost pass, do a Brutal Slash here. No crit. Okay, I may have to redo this one. Oh, here comes Soul Niger. And wow, he actually scored a kill on us. That is unfortunate. Also puts me in kind of a rough situation, as I have no way to deal damage to him immediately on this turn. Okay, so Ooh, this one's gonna be rough. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to kill him. Oh, maybe. Okay, Frykugel, come through on damage for us. Okay, there we go. That is just barely. Definitely a bit of luck involved there. I did not expect that guy to end up being as dangerous as he was. Fortunately, the Demi-Fiend was in no danger because he is immune to physical attacks, so... Oh, that counted as 10 turns. Oh, whatever, it still beat him. Also, it is another turn count that the guide I have is wrong on. But man, this guy has just been completely off base on so many other things. There, I actually get a chance to use Soul Return in the field for somebody who was interested in seeing that. Next up, on the right grave, we've got Scotty over here, so we will take her on. Much easier than Asiel. In fact, it's pretty much the same fight, except this one she has half as much HP. The main difference is, of course, that she drains physical, but Frykugel does not care about that. And even if I didn't have Frykugel, I still have Pierce, so again, it would not care about that. So let's just get her down, bust off the boosted Frykugel in her face, and depending on how much damage that does, we may be able to just kill her with Death Flies or something. Doesn't really matter too much. Heck, if I'm lucky, I might even get a crit. Let's see what happens. Alright, so here come my I-beams. Gotta put your neck into that. Alright, so now we just want to do Death Flies. I'm pretty sure this does more damage than Maziodyne overall. Okay, and then Mabufudyne. This should cherry tap her to death. Yep, there we go. So, 8 turns there. That might be slightly over. This guide has just been so inconsistent on everything. I'm genuinely unsure whenever I get to these fights if I have the right number of turns or not. Okay, 8 turns is good. He was right here. And finally, of course, there's Albion. This is going to be the easiest one because it's just another bunch of weak enemies that I can blast down with multi-targeting physical attacks. Granted, if I fail to kill Albion in this turn, that does put me in somewhat of a sticky situation, since he can just re-summon all of those things. I like his little rhyme here. Albion trying to kickstart his rap career, but unfortunately for him, we're here to kill him. Hit him with the Deadly Fury. Okay, and we're actually just going to do 2 Debilitates here, then have Wukong do another Hasohapa, and if Albion is still alive after that, Frykugel will definitely finish him off. Also, with the number of enemies we've got in play here, I would be shocked if we didn't get at least 1 critical. Man, Hasohapa is just such a great attack. Alright, and Frykugel should take him out. Maybe not? Okay, let's Hades Blast him, and this should take him out. There we go, okay. I was getting a little nervous there for a second, but we got him. You may have noticed that Beelzebub's HP and MP fully restored there. He has the Victory Cry passive that restores those completely full whenever you finish an encounter. Very sweet ability. And there we go. And that is the 4th Kalpa taken care of. Surprisingly short and simple one. You know what that means? We just have 1 more Kalpa to get through. I know this video is going to be much shorter when I actually post it to YouTube, but just getting to these places, I'm already an hour into this recording, so yeah. Alright, here we are in the first burial chamber, or rather at the first burial chamber. It's the second time in this video I've made that mistake, for the 5th Kalpa, and this one is on B2. You enter here through a ladder on the eastern side of B1. Heading into here, we will find 2 graves awaiting for us. On the left, we fight Mithra, so we end up skipping pretty much every boss except in the Diet Building, including the final one, actually. Samael is not represented here. I'm not sure why they passed over so many of the bosses in that area, but whatever. That's what they decided to do, and that's the game we've got. Anyway, Mithra, he's not much of a threat with the setup we got. I gotta admit, it is pretty cathartic going through all these bosses and just utterly crushing them with my high-tier skills and stats and stuff. With so many of them just always being on the precipice of disaster. I'm going to be cutting it a bit close on the turn counts if I don't use the Harlot, so she's coming in to contribute. She does good on helping us get that good damage in. Critical Frykugel also helps us with getting that good damage in. Not overly concerned with that Debilitate, because this next Frykugel will most likely kill him regardless, even if I don't focus it. Yep, there we go. Crit is always just the icing on the cake. And for defeating Mithra in an adequate number of turns, specifically only 4, we once again get another successful grave. Now, I've been going through all this video just kind of operating under the assumption you saw the bonus video where I covered some New Game Plus features in addition to the HD remaster, but in case you haven't, the reason you want to do the Burial Chamber side quest, also hi Thor, is because in New Game Plus, if you have completed the side quest in a previous playthrough, and it doesn't have to be something you redo every New Game Plus cycle, it can be it will just carry over between playthroughs if you've done it or not. You will get an extra press turn upon reaching the Labyrinth of Amala and entering the first burial chamber on 1F of the first Kalpa. Anyway, Thor here, he's pretty straightforward, basically identical to Mithra. He's just stronger if you are actually in a position where you can be threatened by his attacks, which we are not, because we are basically immune to everything. In fact, I was kind of surprised at how Soul Niger is kind of like an Omega attack, just like gets through everything. Kind of crazy, really. Good stuff, good stuff. Getting those crits is always handy. Well, get used to it, Thor, because it's about to get worse the next turn. Yeah, you do that. I am so glad that we don't have to worry about that kind of thing, you know, working against us. Of course, Thor is attempting to hoist himself by his own petard there. And we're going to have Beelzebub do another Debilitate here. We're just going to have Black Frost pass, because he does not have any MP to work with anyway. I should probably heal him after this encounter. And we'll just do that, and then this Frykugel should be the icing. Yep, there we go. Don't know if the crit was necessary, but it's always appreciated. So long, Thor, you were a cool dude with a funny voice. And we have defeated him within 7 turns, which is adequate. Alright, that's it. Just one more burial chamber to complete, and this one is bit of an ordeal to get to, and in terms of preparation, much like the luck door, so let's just reconvene there. Alright, here we are in the B4 of the 5th Kalpa, in front of a check door, and this one requires one brimming with light, and the demon he is referring to is in fact Metatron, so if you are not high enough level to fuse Metatron, then you are out of luck, you cannot complete this quest. This is another reason why, even though you get the benefit for completing this quest on New Game Plus, and you have to start from the beginning of the game in order to benefit from it before you reach the Labyrinth of Amala, it's just much easier to qualify for everything involved with it with the New Game Plus perks available to you. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to go in more detail about how these rooms here work in the next video. For this one, we're just going to take the blunt approach and get to where we need to be right away. So let me see here. Luckily, this guide does list the places that we have to go. Anyways, this maze has a gimmick to it. These doors will check you based on the number of times you have gone through the doors. You are allowed 3 door openings. But that is not a big deal, because to reach everything that you could matter, you just need to go through 3 doors anyway. And at this point, now that we've passed through the 3 doors, if we try to go through another one, then we will get warped out of here and we have to work our way back. There is one other thing of note in this maze that's pretty important, but it is not critical for this video. Like I said, I'll be going over the details of these rooms more in depth in the next video. To start with, we have 3 graves here, and I want you to take a wild guess who these graves are. Before we go in, the team I'm going to be going in with for all 3 of these is myself, Metatron, Black Frost, and Wukong. This is just the best set of skills available to rev up as quickly as possible and totally dumpster these guys, as I'm going to be using essentially the same strategy for all 3 of them. For these final bosses, it really is just in your best interest to spend your time revving up and then destroy them in as few attacks as possible. Anyway, Ariman starts off with his usual routine. We just want to spend our time buffing up here. We want to get our full stack of debilitates. The reason I've got Metatron in here is because he has debilitate and Tarukaja. So once those are all in place, we can have him assist with Tarukajas also. Okay. Well, actually, the way I'm approaching this, he won't need to do that, but that's neither here nor there. So let's just do this. At this point, we'll be at 8 turns, and because physical attacks are forbidden on this first round, we'll want to hit him with magic in the next round, but that is a-okay. So we will get another Tarukaja up. And that is maxed out at this point. Now we actually want to start focus on attacking him. So Wukong cannot do anything without risking death. I want to have the Demi-Fune focus. I'm going to have Metatron use fire, or actually I'm going to have Black Frost also focus. Going to have Metatron use Fire of Sinai here. This is one of the ultimate almighty attacks in the game. Heavy random damage. If it procs twice, it's stronger than any other option in the game. Of course, you cannot guarantee that it'll proc twice, but that's neither here nor there. So we'll hit him with the Magma Axis. This should take him into the next phase where physical attacks are no longer bidden. Yeah, this time he's forbidding spells. I'm not sure if that qualifies buffs or debuffs, actually. We'll have to see. I'm actually going to have the Demi-Fune pass here. Oh, that is not what I wanted Black Frost to do. I thought Metatron was next in the turn order. That was my bad. I actually want the Demi-Fune to carry his focused Frykugel to when Phase 2 starts. Also, we're at 12 turns here. The guide I have listed here says the number of press turns we have at our disposal is 22. Again, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it should be accurate enough. I know it's definitely, if you beat him in under 20 turns, you're fine. Alright, and luckily that Brutal Slash does some pretty good damage, but it's not really going to compare to this. Oh, nice. Sadly, I did not level up enough to get the coveted 5-figure damage. I'm actually just going to have Metatron pass because it is more efficient to have my other characters go instead. Let's Frykugel, see if it crits. It did not. What's he going to do here? He's just going to attack. Okay, we should be able to finish him this turn. That is actually just a standard physical attack. It is not almighty in nature. Guess it wasn't necessary to have Black Frost focus. There we go, no problem. That is Ariman taken down. Definitely he's got the more annoying opening due to his forbidding certain attacks without killing your characters, so that's definitely frustrating to deal with. Now, in contrast to the other Burial Chamber boss fights, these ones actually give you experience for defeating them. They're not exactly a good way to grind, though. I just find, for the amount of time spent on actually fighting anything, doing your grinding in the Tower of Kagetsuchi is just way more sensible. You should just stick to doing it there. Alrighty, let's get ourselves healed up here. Definitely want to get Wukong some MP back so he can actually buff us up. Next, we want to take on the Right Grave. And if there is any boss that is trivialized by having the Pierce Frykugel combo, it is Noah, since it allows us to just completely ignore his gimmick of nullifying everything. And we're going to do, again, the same exact strategy here. It should work out pretty similar to how it was for Ariman. Maybe not quite the same. We do definitely want to make sure we're all in place to deal good damage to Noah when the time comes, because he does not initially reflect anything, and we can hit him for full damage with every attack that we have at our disposal. Another reason that I have Black Frost in the party right now is that he has Prayer on his skill list, which means that he can provide some healing in the event that I need it, which is entirely possible, because again, we've got a lot of almighty attacks being slung our way by Noah, so it is not a good idea to be fully vulnerable to those. Alright. And we'll be ready to begin our offense on the next turn. No dodging, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's begin our assault here. I'm going to have the Demi-Fune focus. And let's see, yeah, let's use the prayer here just for safety's sake. And the way this is working out, let's have Metatron pass. I'll be able to hit him with a fully powered Frykugel to send him into the next phase. Now at this point, Noah repels everything except what he is vulnerable to, so at this point, our only option for dealing good damage to him is, of course, focused Frykugel, which with Pierce ignores the almighty resistance that he has, as it demonstrated there. And what the heck, let's just throw up another Bufudine. We're not gonna be able to do anything else this turn. We just want to pass around so we can get the focus set up, which is what we're gonna do. Now he is going into his second phase. It's going to be a bit annoying if he manages to get Deikaja or Dekunda off, but that's just something we gotta deal with if it happens. Well, you know, I'm just a very nosy and intrusive guy. And yeah, probably not worth it to have anybody do anything, because once again, I don't know what he shifted to. I'm guessing he just shifted right back into fire, because he seems to reset his attack cycle when he switches phases, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so just what we gotta deal with. Okay, let's do another focus here. Not debilitate. Let's do a prayer here. I always forget how kind of unthreatening Noah is, because he just constantly shifts and stuff. I do not know what domination does. Oh, that's just a drain attack. Okay, that's annoying, but I can live with it. Alright, let's hit him with the Pierce Frykugel. And unfortunately, that was nowhere near enough to kill him. So let's get the prayer up. And we'll just pass around, get back to the focus. Regardless if he purges buffs or debuffs here, Frykugel with the focus should be enough to kill him. He can only do one or the other, so I'm not overly concerned with what happens. And he just did neither, so we are fine. Getting pretty unlucky with the crits on Frykugel, getting all of them when I didn't really need them previously. Oh, of course, final hit is a crit, there we go. But yes, Pierce Frykugel makes Noah so much easier than he is intended to be. You do not need to have a well-balanced team to deal with that. And for clearing this time trial, it is definitely the smartest thing you could do, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure it's more than possible to defeat him the correct way, so to speak. But doing this is just much easier to set up, and we defeated him in a cool 24 turns. I believe you have over 30 to work with on this one, which we did not need, obviously, but good to keep in mind. Now, here comes the trickiest one by any metric, I'd say, Ball Avatar. So once again, we have to rev up to defeat her, but we have a pretty narrow time limit to defeat her in. I believe the most turns you can spend on this is, what was it? 18? What we want to do for this fight is we actually want to get focus set up first and foremost, and we want to rev up so that we can just absolutely cave her face in when we have every buff and debuff in place and can begin our assault. Now, one thing that I have to deal with is that Ballsbane will hit Wukong like it just did here, so that's one assistance in the offense that we suddenly just have off the table. Nothing I can do about that. I can try Prayer to see if that gets rid of it, but let's just continue up our thing. He still has access to his buffs and debuffs, so that works well enough for us. Now, Ball has 13,000 HP to chew through, so we just have to do the best we can. We're at 8 turns here. Okay, the dodge there is helpful, although not necessary. And let's just pass there, get the last debilitate in effect. And yeah, let's actually pass on these turns. Pass and pass, and next turn we'll unleash our offense. Okay, so Wukong can't do any damage in his state, so we're just gonna go straight into the Demi-Fiend and Black Frost focus strikes. Very unlucky that we did not get a critical there. Let's see how much this does. Pretty good. Let's have Metatron do that. And this is going to come down to this crit. If it crits, we win. If not, well, then I have to try again. Or it could just do enough damage altogether. Okay, that's fine. That was 16 turns altogether. That should be enough. I believe 18 is the limit you have. But yes, there's me demonstrating how you can... I thought Ball Avatar also gave full experience, but I guess not. I guess Ahriman's the only one who just gives the full experience. And that should be the required number of turns. Nope. Okay, once again, this guide is wrong, so I gotta try that again and hope Wukong doesn't get turned into a fly. Lovely. So let me try that again. Alright, that time it was exactly 12 turns. I just had to take a chance and hope I got some crits there. Looks like I did not have enough strength on the whole to actually defeat her consistently. That actually does feed into a point that I wanted to make there. As you can see, we defeated her in the required amount of turns, and that is all of the bosses defeated. Not the cleanest way you could do this, but it should give you a good idea of how it works so that you can do it yourself if you want to attempt it. But time to finally address something that I meant to earlier. As you can see, we're level 99, but we're still gaining experience. And yes, we can level up. The level 99 is actually a lie. The level cap in this game is 255. And your damage does continue to scale upwards as you level up, so I could have leveled up a lot more and done these fights a lot more consistently, but I felt I was good enough at this point that that would not be necessary. But one thing I'm not sure about is if you keep getting those levels, if your magic damage actually keeps scaling downward. I'm not 100% sure on that. But otherwise, that's just something that's interesting about this game. Most SMT games do cap you at 99 or 100. This one does not. It just lets you keep going, which I think is pretty cool. But that is all of the Labyrinth of Amala burial chambers completed within the required turn counts. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the grand finale of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, the final video, 6 years in the making. We have a couple of loose ends to take care of regarding the Labyrinth of Amala and New Game Plus, and then we will be seeing a new final boss. Get excited. As always, hope you enjoyed watching. Until next time, though, goodbye.